Hello, thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Guman-Singh. Topping our newscast, Juan Luis Hospital officials had their turn in the Senate hot seat Tuesday afternoon. The medical center's management team fielded questions from senators about their spending habits in the face of financial crisis. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
Juan Luis Hospital officials presented a united front Tuesday when they appeared before senators, prepared to defend more than $1 million given to staff while the hospital struggled financially. This week, a Daily News article exposed more than $700,000 in pay raises and more than $600,000 in retroactive pay.
The raise was one thing, but the retroactive really could have waited.
When you're in the driver's seat, it's a whole different ball game. You have got to make judgment calls, and I stand by those decisions.
Chief Executive Dr. Kendall Griffith defended his actions, saying while they need to recruit talented people, they have to take care of the ones who are there. However, the hospital needs the Senate to give them roughly $10 million for improvements so they can keep their CMS certification, and that was part of the discussion Tuesday.
Is a $10.3 million a firm figure? Can it be reduced? Is there a need for more? I know out of the $10.3 million, almost $2 million are for consultants, and I just find that we pay an exorbitant amount to consultants on a regular basis.
Lawmakers continued to question hospital officials Tuesday, but no decision was made about giving them the money. Senate Hospital Committee Chair Kurt Violet said they still have to study the breakdown of the money the hospital needs. It's a decision that also has to be approved by the governor.
I don't think that anybody would have an issue with the $10.3 million if we know for sure that we're going to be able to meet the mandates of CMS. But we don't want to continue to throw money and we're not getting the type of results that we need.
Senator Violet also said hospital officials need to show there's a plan of accountability with employees so there are no future issues with certification or accreditation. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, senators also questioned Louie Hospital officials on some of the hospital's challenges, like long waiting times in the emergency room. They praised hospital officials for turning around the dialysis unit that was previously under a systems improvement agreement with CMS. Well, parents of students of the Alexander Henderson Elementary School are at a meeting right now. Actually, the meeting just ended. St. Croix Superintendent Colleen Williams called this emergency meeting that was scheduled to begin at 5 p.m. on the agenda. Is a possible relocation of the school students and staff while officials decide how to handle the issues that closed the school for the last 3 days. The issue on Monday, school was dismissed midday after students and staff complained of a moldy odor on the campus. There were also complaints of loose airborne particles. On Tuesday, the school was dismissed even earlier after there were complaints of itching, redness, and rash among many of the students. Union heads say it's a long-standing issue.
Henderson, we know, is an old building. It has had a long-standing problem regarding the working conditions here, with the roof especially. The roof needs to be replaced, and we know that costs money, and that will be, of course, a capital improvement project. It will take that to actually remedy the situation at 100%, so there'll be no working conditions problems here. We know that that is not going to happen overnight. I want the parents, the community to know it's not going to happen overnight.
Count on 2 to keep you updated. The Arson Investigation Unit of the VI Fire Service is investigating the cause of a fire around 12:30 this afternoon. Firefighters battled the structural fire at number 19 Narcitavai, St. Thomas. When firefighters arrived on the scene, they found the lower apartment of the structure on fire. Firefighters fought the fire and the structure was extinguished around 12:50 p.m. Fire personnel then conducted their salvage and overhaul operations of the fire scene. EMS was requested on the scene by fire personnel after the tenants complained of smoke inhalation. Both patients were treated by EMS personnel but refused to be transported to the hospital for further observation by the medical staff. Meanwhile, due to unforeseen mechanical failure of a fire apparatus located at the Tutu Fire Station in Anna's Retreat, officials of the Virgin Islands Fire Services say they are forced to temporarily close the Bordeaux Fire Station until further notice for repairs. The apparatus and personnel assigned to the border station are being relocated to the Emile Berry Fire Station, and personnel of the Dorothea Fire Station are relocated to the Tutu Fire Station until those repairs are completed. All emergency calls for the Bordeaux community will be handled through the Dorothea Fire Station. 911 operators are aware of the temporary closure and will dispatch the closest fire service to any emergencies accordingly. Senator Kenneth Gittens, chairman of the Senate Rules and Judiciary Committee, says the Senate is making headway on the confirmation process for the governor's nominees. Confirmation hearings were held on St. Croix today. Commissioner nominee for the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, Devin Carrington, and director nominee for the Bureau of Internal Revenue, Marvin Pickering, both gave testimony and fielded questions from senators. Now on St. Croix on Thursday, Pedro Cruz, Commissioner nominee for the Department of Sports, Parks and Recreation, and Delroy Richards, Commissioner nominee for the Virgin Islands Police Department, will make their appearance before the committee. The committee has heard testimony from 7 nominees so far and has given favorable recommendations for 6 of those nominees. A green energy initiative that WAPA says will result in more sustainable and affordable energy for WAPA customers was dedicated today. On May 13th, 2014, WAPA, Main Street Power, and Morgan Stanley broke ground on the project. Now, on Wednesday, a ceremony was held for the 4.2 megawatt photovoltaic renewable power generation plant in Estate Donoe behind Home Depot.
We plan to diversify our generation portfolio. We wanted to treat how we produce power like how we invest our dollars to our own personal accounts and whatnot. And we wanted to embark on a system that gave flexibility. Part of it is going on with the propane, oil, natural gas conversion at the plant. But the rest is to bring some generation to the grid that is not reliant on any commodity. And this is the second of those type of projects that we are dedicating. We have a 4 megawatt facility on St. Croix, and now the largest facility in the U.S. Virgin Islands by a lot, like 0.2. This one is 4.2. I think we planned that 0.2 just so you can see the largest in the VI.
And turn our attention to police reports. Here's an update. On Friday, February 20th, it was reported that a single shot was fired upon a VIPD patrol vehicle. Officer Kendall Wharton claimed to have heard a shot fired while driving on Veterans Drive in the area of the Water and Power pump house that shattered the vehicle's front passenger side window. Wharton continued driving and notified Central Dispatch of the situation. After careful examination, according to the report, of the patrol vehicle, members of the VIPD's forensics team have concluded that no shot was fired, with no damage to the vehicle by a bullet hole and no casings found in the area. It was determined, however, that a blunt object caused the damage. Turn attention overseas. 3 foreign-born men living in the United States were charged Wednesday with trying to aid Islamic State militants in Syria and wage war against their adoptive country. 2 suspects faced a judge in New York. A third was arrested in Jacksonville, Florida. FBI Director James Comey says terrorists are appealing to troubled souls through social media. Authorities say the suspects were encouraged to kill police officers and FBI agents. Well, Veterans Affairs Secretary in other news, Robert McDonnell, took his apology directly to veterans at the American Legion. McDonnell is apologizing for making false claims. He served in the military's Special Forces. McDonnell was an Army Ranger and served in the 82nd Airborne. Keeping our eye on the economy, Target says this past holiday season was a good one as they move past the 2013 data breach in which hackers stole credit and debit information from millions of customers. Federal officials have agreed to let Southwest keep flying planes, even though they canceled 80 flights Tuesday and 19 more today after missing a safety inspection deadline. The FAA granted 5 more days for that. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with a stock market watch. The Dow up 15, NASDAQ and S&P down. Coming up on News 2 and continuing our Black History Month recognition, who is the controversial film director, producer, writer, and actor noted for his many films dealing with social issues, social and political issues? The answer coming up next. And Now for a moment in Black history. Shelton Jackson Lee, better known as Spike Lee, is a controversial film director, producer, writer, and actor noted for his many films dealing with social and political issues. Spike was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but was raised in Brooklyn, New York. He developed film skills at Clark Atlanta University and received his undergrad degree from Morehouse College. Lee's movies include School Days, Do the Right Thing, Jungle Fever, Malcolm X, and Bamboozled, just to name a few. His movies have examined diverse and complex issues ranging from race relations, the role of media in contemporary life, urban crime and poverty, and political issues. Noted film critics described Spike Lee as one of the greatest filmmakers working in America. Lee's willingness to tackle sensitive issues of relevance to the Black community has made his films profitable. Efforts for the STARS Act to create an effective program to lure film, music, and video productions to the territory came up on Monday before the Senate's Economic Development, Agriculture, and Planning Committee hearing. The latest version of the bill repeals the existing law and replaces it with a revamped version sponsored by Senator Clifford Graham. After hours of testimony, Graham said he would draft some amendments to the bill to address some of the concerns. The committee then voted to hold the bill until the continuation of that hearing, which is scheduled for March 2nd. Now, many were in favor of the new bill, but some are concerned. EDA's president and CEO Percival Clouden told senators that the existing law contains conflicting sections. On March 7 and 8, be sure to join the Reichel Center for the first family-friendly performance of the 36th season with a mind-bending, mystifying performance by Spencer's Theater of Illusion. For over a decade, Spencer's has been mesmerizing audiences with perplexing illusions. They are premier illusionists, ranked among some of the best, including Chris Angel and David Copperfield. The Spencers have redefined the art of illusion and are shattering the stereotype of the traditional magician and assistant. Spencers will be in the territory from March 2nd to the 8th, in which Reichel will be hosting a series of arts and education workshops with VICA for students throughout the week. Now, the shows begin at 7 p.m. A tight-knit group of young high school athletes have a terrible crash after winning the state championship, a catastrophe that will shape all their lives. The Crew, which is an award-winning indie film, co-written by Virgin Islander Oliver Otley III, made history at the 2014 and won awards in the American Black Film Festival. And that's just to name a few. Crew stars include Keith Robinson, Richard Jones, Harry Lennox, Allison Eastwood, and Jermaine Crawford. The writers, directors, and more have all been sharing some inspiration with high school students in the VI. Meanwhile, showtime to see that film is set for February 28th and March 11th at Antilles Schools, Prior Dulec Hall. All the shows are 12 p.m., 3 p.m., and 6 p.m. Senator Jeanette Millen Young attended some recent meetings in New York last week in preparation for an economic development and investment forum to be held in the VI. She said the meetings focused on bringing investments to the VI, particularly in the areas of energy and real estate financing. The senator met with representatives of several large investment firms from throughout the U.S., including a national premier real estate investment company. She said she was also grateful for the opportunity to meet with New York City Comptroller, who arranged a meeting to examine the importance to the economy of women-owned and other minority business. Well, you are invited to join the monthly YWCA Enterprise Learning Circle, and here's why. Once joining the circle, there will be sharing of tools, information, and support, all designed to equip you with a toolkit filled with resources that can support personal and business success. On Thursday, February 26th, that's the next one, at 6:30 p.m., the dial-in number is 605-475-5900. Participant code is 541-2721. The topic? From passion to profits. Do you have an entrepreneurial mindset? Count on 2 will have more on some of the other forums coming up. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.